Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Men's Couch, a men's show about men's mental health. I'm Alex Hennon.
I'm Kane Kirk.
I'm Xander Witt.
I'm Dimitri.
Hey, I'm Micah.
And welcome back to the Men's Couch. Yes, don't forget to follow us on Spotify, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Men's Couch. Micah, take it away.
Xander, take it away.
All right.
Okay,
That's,
okay.
that's a new one. It's only the second day here, man.
Yeah.
So today we're going to break down how to recognize when people are struggling.
Okay.
Because there's so much that plays into it. From people having a lack of eating, just don't eat, or lashing out in anger. There's so much that goes into it as a whole. So we're going to break it down for you today.
Break
I
it
feel like
down.
we have like experience with that.
What's
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
So, okay, so for me, it's hard because everyone is different, but I'm Kane. So I would say a sign is a silence and withdrawal from just like interacting that they as opposed to like what they like usually do. So that's a sign. And just being short with people. And also for me, I feel like I feel like I'm learning to trust my intuition more because I feel like I just have like an intuition. I don't know if you could relate to that. But like I was like, something deeper is going on, and that kind of.
It's kind of like an instinctual thing. It's just
Yeah.
something inside you clicks, hey, there's definitely something wrong here.
Yeah.
And then you just like got to figure it out from there.
Yeah. So.
Very true.
To not go too much into detail, I think I was doing with the.
Wait, what are we? Oh, okay.
Do you want to talk about it? Yeah.
You mean okay? Hold on.
Over the summer.
Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure it's like too loud. Well, oh wait, you mean like the? Okay,
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about it a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I guess when I was, I guess like I was like, I mean, everyone's like rough patches, I guess. I guess I would just like not respond as much, or I would just be like kind of in like my own world doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's like, yeah, it's definitely a good sign. I guess like body language as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to like, I don't know if we're
Yeah.
sticking with like the same example.
Yeah, we can keep going about it.
Okay. I feel like that's
you
like.
know when somehow you always know when I'm like.
Well, I mean, oh yeah, just like the like look on, I don't know, like look on their face, like body language. It's like they're like. It's like hard to explain, but you can kind of tell when someone's sad. Not even off their face, it's like the way they like are presenting
The
themselves.
way they carry themselves.
Like how they dress, even sometimes.
I guess.
That's like kind of a stretch, though.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know.
Actually, no, you have a pretty good point there. I mean, a lot of the time when you're depressed, it takes a lot more effort to do things that would be very normal to do had you not been depressed.
Exactly.
And the reason why it always shows out in clothing is because when you wake up in the morning, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm gonna put that good stuff on today," you say, "Oh, I'm just gonna put on whatever."
His shades are throwing me off. It's just so cool.
Sorry for cutting you off. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So
No, that-
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I really
so
like that.
yeah. So I know Dimitri is like was going through his phase, is when like you weren't responding, and then you just sounded like a different person. I was like, what is going on? So I tried to I just ask questions about to seek what is the deeper thing behind what's going on, because you can easily just say, okay, what's get it together, or you can just assume something, which I did assume things about you that weren't true. You don't want to assume something about a person's situation. Yeah.
I feel like in this topic specifically, the main people that have an advantage when being able to recognize when people are struggling are the empaths.
Yeah, I'm a huge empath.
Yeah, based.
I can relate because I am too. Thanks, Mama Wit, because I got it from her.
Yeah.
And I got it real well.
Yeah.
And it just provides that advantage because you can just, when you're around people enough, you know how they normally are. And the moment something happens, they have that mood switch, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh boy.
And if you're in tune with people's emotions as well, it makes you more easy to recognize when their emotions are off.
Exactly.
So the signs, I mean, I guess going off signs, Dimitri mentioned body language, but also say just, I guess,
the mood.
the mood, the energy. Their energy is less and they're also like, if you ask them about like, if they're always tired, that's another thing. It's like, if you're always tired, it's like no one is always tired. Like that's like a sign. That's not a sign for me. What?
He said he's always tired.
He's always tired.
Well,
I think
if they're always tired, apart from their usual like self.
I don't mean to pull a nerd emoji on you, but it's more exhaustion rather
Yeah.
than tired. I'm tired
Like
all the time, but
overwhelmed.
if you can see exhaustion in somebody's face. If you look at somebody when they're exhausted, it's like, oh man, he's had a rough one. You ever see somebody and be like, oh man, you must have had a rough day?
Yeah.
And in terms of that, it's also like when they're around people, they're just not there. They're
Yeah.
always either in their phone or dazing off away,
Yeah.
and there's just no focus.
They can't be like present.
They dissociate.
Yeah.
Disassociate.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the disassociation is like a very deep part of it, because like
Yeah.
you can just, that's one of the more notable ones, because it's just clear overall.
Mm-hmm.
I once killed a whole day dissociating.
Mm-hmm.
It was wild.
I mean, yeah, when people disassociate, it just time goes by like that, because you're not here.
Yeah. I guess people not being present, and just shutting down. How would you recognize the signs in me?
Are we doing this based on like personal experience? I thought we were just
No,
talking
it is
about,
not.
like, in
It's
general.
it can be in general, but I'm
Okay.
just saying.
Cool. Okay, I don't know. I kind of already talked about it, but not like directly to you. It's just like, well, I mean, just like for most people, it's like body language, just how like they like are carrying themselves that particular day, or just how like I don't know. It's I guess like unwillingness to like. I mean, you already said it, like unwillingness to like say anything if you're like hanging out with them or like whatever it is, or I don't know if they I guess just want to be like.
I'll also say being more distracted than they usually are. Just like feeling like I guess because like if you're preoccupied with something, then you're just gonna be like out of it. Like I'm out of it.
Yeah, like they kind of have that like 1,000-yard stare going. They're just
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah, and usually for me, like to recognize the signs that Micah's struggling, I guess for me is like just being short. Like I'll get like really like short, and I'll look like I'm preoccupied with something, because a lot.
Oh yeah. Do you mind if I
so
add something
much.
real quick?
Go ahead.
Huh? Yeah.
Whenever people are depressed, they also feel a lot more like a burden, and you can hear it like, "Oh, I'm sorry for being here, man.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for being
yeah,
late."
I'm sorry.
There's a lot of
thing.
sorries whenever somebody's sad, and it's
Yeah.
really
Even if like
it's really heartbreaking to see.
if
Yeah.
they're not even like voicing it, you can just see it in their
emotions.
in the energy they're giving off, the emotions.
Yeah.
It's just a visual thing. Like they think they know they're a burden,
Yeah.
but obviously that's a sign that you got to really look for, and it's just clear overall.
Mm-hmm.
And if you argue that they're not a burden and they get like really defensive,
Then
no, I
that's-
am a burden.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay.
They'll try to convince you otherwise. How do you recognize the signs? I feel like you haven't said.
Oh boy. I mean, honestly, it kind of depends on the person. Like, if you know the person really well, right? You can kind of tell, especially like when they're really close to somebody, when you're really close to them.
You're close with them. You're living
Yeah,
with them.
that's when you know, right? Because
Oh yeah.
when their emotions change,
Yeah.
with
mean,
that,
like,
right?
I'm gonna bring a little personal for me for a second, just
Yeah.
to show signs that,
No problem.
like with me, like last semester, I ended up really struggling. Not last semester, last year, I ended up really struggling, and one of the ways I actually ended up showing that was I wouldn't eat. I was lucky if I had like a cracker in a day. I think I went.
Actually, now that you mention that, I'll wait till you're finished though. But.
I mean, like, in terms of eating, I think the longest I went without eating during that period was maybe close to 3 days.
Okay.
Dang.
Okay.
It was bad for me personally. And Kane,
You better
'cause-
never do that again.
Oh, never. You know how healthy I am now. I'm a good boy.
Your kneecaps will get broke if you try that.
That's crazy. But like,
He's awesome.
I told him.
it's
He's really good.
'cause Kane lived with me. He knew something was up,
Yeah.
and when I wouldn't eat, that actually ended up turning into anger.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up lashing out and taking it out on a group of people that I was close with.
That's what I do.
And like,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I still feel bad
Yeah,
about it, even though I'm not friends with them anymore. Actually, some of them I'm not friends with anymore, but like, I still feel bad about it because no one ever deserves that.
Yeah.
And then Kane kind of made that switch in me, like, okay, we're gonna break it down and figure out what we can do to get better.
Of what's going on here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and him are here for each other 24/7. That's just how it
Yeah.
gotta be. If you don't have somebody who's there for you under any circumstance, you don't have a real friend. You have a fake friend.
That's right.
Yeah.
You also,
Yeah.
in terms of like people being there, you got to the people people are struggling. They got to try and learn to accept when people are there to help.
Oh my gosh, I think as an empath, that's the biggest. It's the biggest struggle.
It is the biggest struggle because like as an empath, you want to be there for
other
people, but like when you're struggling,
you have
you
to
don't
know
want
when to
people to
press
be
the
there.
help button.
exactly.
Help
You
us.
just
You
don't
don't want
know.
people to feel like they're being burdened or something of the sort because they want to help you out. When in actuality, if you do accept their help,
Yep.
it actually makes them feel better too. So,
Ooh.
in
Talked about
actuality,
that
by
over the
accepting
summer.
the help, you do good for everybody, not just
Yeah.
yourself, but the friends who are trying to help you.
It's a win-win scenario.
I also have like
Sorry, I was in
a-
a second.
Wait a second.
oh,
Okay,
sorry.
Good,
Kane, go ahead.
good.
There's a very scary sign if somebody is depressed. I've had it on my mind for a couple minutes. If somebody seems very depressed for like months and then suddenly they just make a switch and they're very happy,
That's
be
concerning.
very scared
That's
because
concerning,
most likely they have a certain S word on their mind and
Yeah.
the reason why they look so happy is because they're like, finally, I found a
Yeah,
way to
they
get out of
finally-
this.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
no, that is not the way. It is not the way. But
And also, like, if they're not willing to accept your help, perks of being here on this campus, you can make an anonymous tip to our counseling center and
Yeah.
get them the help. Someone actually ended up doing that for me after I had lashed out,
Yeah.
and I actually started talking, and I started feeling better. Like,
yeah.
you
So see,
should-
even like it might be like it feels so awkward in those situations, but like it eventually helps. It's just very uncomfortable because we're dealing with people that we're dealing with like an aspect of vulnerability where you're revealing a part of yourself that is like you know always reveal that on like a day-to-day level, and it's just hard. And what I was gonna say, like like when I lash out, because I remember I lashed out at you a couple of times.
At Alex.
Well, not so much Alex, no.
I was kidding.
But it's like, I guess like you like it's not like when we're like in a position that like of lashing out at people, it's not like I'm not like intentionally hurting you. It's just I'm breaking down, and not to like excuse it, but like it's just I don't know, just like anything. It's just like anything would just. It's not the when someone's lashing out at you, it's not you. It's the person. They're going through. They're dealing with something that they need to process, and it's just they just need time. But lashing out is definitely a sign.
the brain's so overwhelmed that it's hard to not make bad decisions. I've been there, man.
Yeah.
we're getting deep. We're gonna like.
We're getting
up
deep.
in here.
We're getting
Oh, that
deep.
was satisfying. That was crisp.
So,
like,
but yeah, I think, yeah, this is really good.
This is
I'm
good.
excited. But recognizing the signs it can be difficult
Yeah.
because
it
with
is
some
not
people,
easy whatsoever.
with some people you have to be patient with them to come to reveal things to you, because they're not when you first ask okay, like what's actually going on, they may actually lash out at you for asking.
Yeah,
But
It's sort of like
then it becomes like a whole huge like fight. Like I wasn't trying to fight you. I was just wanting, that's what was going on.
I know it sounds strange. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
It's
good.
kind of like picking a lock. If you
Yeah.
use way too much force, they're just gonna back away,
Yeah.
and they're not gonna give you anything.
Yeah.
But if you're not forceful enough, they're like, okay, he's not on to me. I don't have to
I
say
can just
anything.
go under.
You have to find like the right area of applying pressure to them to get them to say, yeah, I'm in a real big situation. Or if you find them in a situation where it's like, yeah, you have to tell me that there's something up. I can see that there's something up.
Yeah.
Don't deny it. I need to know, because if I know, then I can help you.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms
So-
of trying to be there, sorry to cut you off, Mike.
No, you go ahead.
In terms of trying to be there to help somebody, it's like Kane said, there is such thing as too much force, and that puts
Yeah.
a real strain on them. You kind of
Yeah.
got to be laid back,
Yeah.
but active, because there are. We're gonna pull up PTSD for a second, just that whole traumatic distress disorder, because with that, it's different with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone close to me actually started opening up this year from stuff that happened way back before I was even born.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you press too much, it can trigger something. So that's why you gotta like be cautious and know when the right time is to actually be able to do that.
Yeah, because you have to like do it on their time, and when they're ready. I mean, I think it's still a good idea to ask and to like initiate conversations, but it also needs to be like they also have to open
Willingness.
up. Yeah, open up, and that was like a huge thing with us over the summer. Is I feel like I was like sort of like the pusher, but like you weren't necessarily ready to reveal everything. So.
Sorry, guys, we have a chimpanzee in the radio room right now.
Yeah, it's me for real.
So
For real.
Like wet sandpaper.
Oh, God.
But yeah, another thing to take into account is that whenever you're depressed, talking itself, like talking
Really
to
helps.
people.
Yeah.
No,
It
the
takes a lot of
idea of
energy.
talking is hard.
Oh.
It
Talking
takes a
to
lot of
people
energy.
helps a lot.
Yeah.
But the idea of going out and talking to somebody and making the
yeah.
effort, it is
hard.
something that is very physically hard. I've been in a pretty bad place mentally over the past couple months due to certain circumstances, and I've been going through it, and I can see it's hard to want to talk to people. It's hard to want to go do things. It's hard to just
It's hard to
try
wanna do
and
the things that you need to do.
exactly.
Because, like, even though, like, okay, that's obvious, but like, I don't have the energy.
Brushing teeth. It's a simple thing that you can do in 2 minutes. Yet, whenever you're depressed, it becomes like the hardest thing to ever do.
Yeah.
And to comment on Kane's struggles right now, I still live with the man. He's obviously my roommate. Literally, like just an hour before this, he literally came up to me and said, "Hey, are you okay playing therapist for a second?" I'm like, "Absolutely." And then we started talking about it, and he started feeling good. Like Kane has been opening up more and more,
I mean, I don't really
just
have anything to say right now.
from my perspective with this, when you like start listening
I'm gonna cook.
and provide the information that they're looking for, even if we're not looking for information, just listening helps.
Yeah,
But they start to feel better already.
Let's let
that's the
bro cook.
thing about with relationships with men is establishing a sense of talking. Because I feel like for us, it is still hard to talk to other men about what we're going through and being honest. So I think it's like the biggest thing. And like you show that you're breaking out of that and you're like willing to just, do whatever it takes to help a friend. You're not like going to let expectations like stop that. So
And like with the relationships, it takes a lot out of you, sometimes during or even after, if it's like an abusive one. And not to get too personal, but I sadly have experience in it, and I ended up disassociating because of it. It was a couple of years ago, so obviously I'm fine now. But like,
but it still affected you. So
yeah.
it did. Like, the people I was friends with, they just didn't feel great around me when I was struggling. And there would be times where people would come and talk to me and just like say, "Hey, I'm here if you need anything." I never took them up on that offer because I felt like that burden.
Yeah. I feel like you have a lot to.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to take a turn at this real quick. No, I can definitely relate to what Xander just said there. Feeling like a burden when something's going on.
Yeah.
Definitely feel that right now. Like, not like any specific situation, but just whenever I'm like that, I've done that. Because I feel like sometimes, and even other people I think feel this way too. They feel like the therapist of their said friend group, and when they are the said therapist of their group, they feel like they can't say what's on their mind, because they need to help everybody else.
I want to speak on that group therapist real quick. There's a mix between like who's actually there to help and who wants to feel important. From a lot of my experiences in terms of the friend group therapist, they just want to feel important, and when you kind of like give them that power, it kind of just like sits in their mind, and they
use it for evil.
Yeah, they kind of like sometimes they can use it against you. I'm not saying it's still bad to talk to people. Obviously, it's good. Just like instead of like going after someone who says that group therapist, just like find someone, or someone will come find you and say, hey, whenever you want to talk, let me know. Like with Henan, in terms of his experiences, like literally when it first happened, I told you, I'm going to add you to my favorites on Do Not Disturb. You call or text me if you need anything. And you're still on there right now, actually.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
What a legend.
You want to find somebody who wants to help you get better, not make you get better.
Yes.
And that's another thing. Okay, and that's and it's okay. So it's a difficult, messy thing with helping someone, because you don't want to become codependent, and that is a huge problem for me that I'm still working on in therapy. Is that you don't want
Spit them facts, Micah.
you don't want to like get into a place where you're, like you want to help. Helping is good, but you also need to like allow those.
You need time for yourself.
Those boundaries, and we talked about that before in the codependency episode. But also, I feel like this applies here because I think as empaths we take on stuff, we take on people's stuff, but also we need to learn we need to learn how to let go of their stuff. And setting boundaries is not rejecting the other person, it's also like protecting you so you can be like healthy for yourself. So
we're all men here, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to speak on that empath fact real quick,
I'll
Micah.
let homie talk first.
In terms of the empaths, when you are there to help people, like even when it's multiple people all at once, you got to make sure you're just listening and providing feedback. You can't dwell on it.
Exactly.
Excuse me. And like, if you find yourself dwelling on it, that's time for you to find help, because you're letting it sit in you too much.
That's how I know this.
Exactly. No, I can relate to that. Yeah. And like, once you start dwelling on it and you're like, oh my God, this is a serious problem. At the end, you're not an actual therapist. You're just there to help somebody, but that's something empaths have to accept.
Learn. And it's so hard because like my therapist, she knows this in me. It's just kind of hard to like face that about myself, because like helping people is also can get like meshed up in other people's like stuff, and it's more of what's mine is mine. I mean, it's not that simple, but it's like you have to make that decision of this is mine. Like I just need to be a friend. I don't need to be a therapist. And that's like something that I'm like reminding myself is just be a friend and just listening. We talked yesterday that like sometimes just listening is just all that someone needs.
That's interesting, because I 100% agree.
Yeah.
However, younger me, whenever I try to help somebody,
you always feel like you need to say something.
I always feel like I need to say something, like a solution.
Real.
But some people don't want to hear solutions.
Yeah.
They just want people to listen to them. And I've kind of learned that the hard way. Of helping people like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people just need a way to someone to talk to.
Or they
instead
don't
of instead of just giving solutions.
Like sometimes like okay, sometimes people don't want to hear, okay, it'll get better. Sometimes people don't want to hear that. Like, they know it'll eventually get better. They just want to process, like, the emotion that's happening now.
In that case, if you want to say something that'll help them, it'll get better, hit them with I know it's going to be bad for a while, but hey, man, I'm here for you. Whenever you need me, just give me a call.
It's saying, like,
that's the best way,
like, focusing on right now. So.
With me, one of the first things I do, and I started doing this within the last 2 years, is when someone would come to talk to me, with me being an empath, I would go, okay, do you want a listener or do you want solutions?
Yeah.
He's asked me this a couple times. It's actually a really good question to ask.
Yeah.
It is a good question, and when you throw that question, it makes them think.
Okay,
and then when depending on their response, you know what they need, and then you can provide it.
Some pain, it's just one of those things. All you can do about it is just complain and say, man, it's real bad right now, and there's nothing else you can do. Because some problems, yeah, we can't do anything about them, but no matter what, our bodies worry about what we worry. We can't stop our brain from worrying. That's the reason why our brain is the way it is.
That's another thing too. Is like, is just worrying. But I want to say something. You haven't said.
I don't really. Okay. Well, sorry. I'm a little zoned out because it's like the exam. I was just thinking about that.
Okay.
Fair.
No, I flunked an exam earlier. It was kind of my fault though.
Me yesterday.
Based.
Oh yeah, probably same here.
Yeah, I mean the class is starting now. It's cool. I don't know. I guess what like we're talking about struggle. I mean, like I haven't really been saying much. You guys have been kind of just like, saying like everything I was probably gonna say anyway. I mean, like about what over the summer.
Yeah, talk about that. Talk about your. I want to talk.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it really isn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have like a whole lot to say. I kind of disconnected myself from like my phone over the summer because I don't know. It felt like a hassle to like look at it for me. I just didn't feel like looking at it. I didn't have the energy to, so I just played like a lot of video games. Like I actually didn't lift over that much over the summer. That could have been another reason why I was like not feeling great. But yeah, that's just something like I guess I think about. But I don't know. I can't really say much. Like I struggled, but.
Meech, I have a question for you.
Okay.
With your phone, did it feel more like an addiction, and that's why you pulled away from it? Not to get too deep, but I'm curious.
Oh shoot. Yeah, no. I feel like that was kind of like I don't know. I feel like I don't know for whatever reason when I'm like going through like emotional distress or I'm like don't feel like I'm in the best mood, I will like a lot of time I'll associate it with my phone. I'm like I'm on my phone too much. I need to socialize with people. I need to like not be on my phone. Cause I feel like I don't know for whatever reason it's like brings me like stress to look at my phone.
Yeah, man.
See, the reason why is because when you scroll through, do you scroll through Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah, of course.
When you scroll through Instagram, it is actually kind of like a miniature dopamine rush. When we're depressed, our brain requires dopamine in a much higher amount than normal. Mm-hmm. So whenever we're scrolling, our brain's like, okay, this is what we need, and the thing is, it's not what you need, but your brain says it is. It's just one of those things. Our body is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, what was it like to have me to try to help in the summer?
Okay, so I can go off this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess, like at the time, I guess it was like kind of overwhelming. I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was just like a lot of stuff to like read through when I didn't really have the energy to like really do anything.
Yeah.
So I guess that was like the main thing. Yeah, I don't know. It was just because there was like a lot of stuff, and I felt like I had to respond. Like I felt bad if I didn't, so I would try to like look through everything.
So there's a guilt cycle.
I guess kind of, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, it was a rough part. It's kind of my fault. I didn't really like engage myself in things that I should have been doing. I was just like lazy. That's how I was. I don't know. It comes in waves. Like I think I might have mentioned that last week. I feel like when I'm like sad, it comes in like I could be good for like a while, and then it's like for like a couple of days, the weather
just crunches down.
Yeah, or just like I don't know. Even today. Well, no, I've actually been fine today. Like the weather. I feel like when it's cloudy, I don't like it. I like when it's sunny out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, the sun kind of provides that energy that you need.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like enjoyable.
When,
Yeah.
when
Is
the
there
sun's
something
out, our
about-
brain actually starts feeling more awake because our entire body is based off of a day-night cycle. And whenever you're out in the sun, our brain's like, oh yeah, it's time.
Gotta go down.
I got like a big rant to cook on, so I want to like let you guys say what y'all need to say first before I get into that, because it's gonna be pretty meaty.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the seasonal affective thing like that some people get in the fall and winter.
Sad.
So yeah, sad. It literally is called sad. So I feel like for me, okay. So my when he was going through his phase, being like this is for people that are like trying to help someone or that are recognizing the signs or whatever. Being in that position, it was kind of like it was also kind of like I was going in circles because I was trying to build a bridge of communication. But also, when a person is depressed, that's kind of like not really
You
possible.
can't build a bridge during a flood.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That's crazy.
So it was just kind of like trying to find something, find a solution. But also, I feel like what he really needed was just for me to just be patient enough for him to for him to come back to his normal self. And you said you were overwhelmed. It was because like I was also like overwhelming him too with like questions of like what is going on, like why aren't you being honest? But also at the same time you're like
No, I was.
What?
Oh, no, I was being honest. Yeah.
Well, not fully.
Okay.
But it's also like it's like you need to respect their boundary, their privacy of they're not ready to share. They're not ready to.
I would say it's like a learning experience for
It
both the
was
listener and the
It
listening.
was a learning.
Listening.
It was a learning
Yeah.
season for me.
You know?
Yeah.
The listener and the speaker is how I'd
Yeah,
say that.
yeah, exactly. What was Anna?
2 topics, if you guys are willing. I want to go around the room.
Can I like yeah?
Can I cook before we get into
Yeah,
that?
so
Okay.
Yeah.
You
I
go.
just want to bring it up real quick. The first topic I want to go around the room with is like you as the person that's being there. How, in your experience, did it kind of feel for you? How did you like process it?
Oh, with someone being there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so uncomfortable because okay, so I cried. I think what was that? When did I cry? Was that last week?
yes.
I cried before I went to sleep, and having a guy be there for me in that way was different from what I'm used to because I didn't necessarily experience that level of relationship on that level where someone is like another guy was able to comfort me.
Like your mom usually.
Yeah, it's like your mom.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it was like it broke that like barrier of me not willing to be vulnerable with other men.
The stigma.
Yeah, it broke the stigma, and it allowed me to have a better connection to Alex because he was also going through something and he was processing it as well.
Actually,
So-
Micah, now that you mention that, that's basically what I was going to
Okay,
get
good.
into. With my...
You cool.
Actually, no, thank you. That
let
kind of
Kane
allowed like the
cook.
You
perfect
cook.
transition.
You
Homie.
cook.
I appreciate it.
You cool.
Cook.
But in the spirit of this being men's couch, for men, being depressed is a completely different animal. I know that makes me sound weird, but in my opinion, it is.
No, it's true.
Because whenever you're depressed and say you're a woman, people do care. And I know that sounds strange in this situation, but they do care. But as a man, you don't know who cares and who doesn't. Men are 50-50. 50% of men are good people who actually care about others. 50% of men are good people. Actually, no. 50% of men are people who think that they want to be a real man, but know nothing of what being a real man is.
I want to comment on that real quick.
Go
The
ahead.
big thing you
What is going on?
the big thing you gotta really think about is from a like in terms of men's mental health. There's homes where they grow up with I'm allowed to be open, and then there's homes growing up where
Yes.
I need to
Yeah.
be a man. I have to suppress. I have to hide everything.
Or I have to be the
gotta
one that's the strong one.
I gotta be a strong one. I gotta suck it up.
And you have to be smart with who you go to for help, because if you go to the right person, like say if I were to go to Xander, best person to go to, because he'll be there for me, he'll listen to what I have to say, and if I want to, he'll give me solutions on it as well.
You know,
But
like-
some men will just hit you with the, no, shut up, be a real man, stop crying, and it's like, dog, my dog just died.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
Exactly. And it's just I think it's why we're afraid to be I think that's why we're afraid to be vulnerable. It's because of that reason. We're either because of our experience of what we had when we did be vulnerable, or we're afraid that like, hey, other men can't hold my vulnerability. They can't handle it because they won't take it seriously.
And if you look at what people say on the internet, I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like men and women both. So nobody can say, "Oh, I'm not a part of that group." No, yeah, both
Yeah.
men and women say terrible things online about how men who can't handle their sadness, they shouldn't even be alive. What?
The
What are you
keyboard
talking about?
warriors.
Yeah.
And you can't generalize and say, "Oh, women care much more." Have you seen some of the things that some women say? It's very 50-50. Every single person is their own
Yeah.
individual. And that's why you have to be smart with who you ask and who you trust. I know that sounds wild, but if
It's
you trust
also-
the right people, you'll be very trusting. If you
Exactly.
trust the wrong people, you'll never trust anybody again.
From my aspect of being that trusted person, I pretty sure I can safely say I'm definitely one of the better people to go to. Because I'm not like trying to boost my ego or anything, but from what people from what people have come to me about and then told me afterwards when they feel better, like I'm glad I came to you. Like being the empath, I do want to be there, and I always provide that question of, do you want a listener or solutions?
Yeah.
And whenever people have come to me, I would sit there and talk to them. Like, the longest I've actually worked someone through their problems was actually over a year.
Oh my gosh.
Hot.
Like that's how,
That's hot.
because I care about everyone equally. Like I try to show everyone as much respect as I can.
Yeah.
And just
What's
like
wrong?
being there, I want to work with them.
Are you?
Just don't worry about it. I'm holding back laughter and terrible jokes.
Kane,
Okay.
you're turning red.
So yeah, it was definitely a healing experience for me when Alex came over to like my side of the room and he just held me while I was crying, because I didn't really like necessarily experience that, and it's like definitely like something that is I guess you relate to that. So it's something that's like that I will never forget, because it's like a breakthrough for a new way of living. I don't have to live like so closed off. I can be vulnerable. It's like an experience where you use experience to develop trust, and you believe that vulnerability is like actually like a good thing, especially when it comes to grief. So
And like sometimes, if you know someone's struggling and they're not going to talk, sometimes the best thing to do is just to give them a hug.
yeah,
I have given someone a hug,
Okay.
and and they just kind of broke down in tears, and I
Yeah.
stayed with them the entire night. Like I allowed them to come back, and I told them I'll keep a close eye on you. I will help you work through it and make sure you're okay. And like sometimes that hug is just all someone needs.
yeah, yeah.
And whenever somebody is mid-crying, this is advice for people who are in the situation of helping somebody else.
Mhm.
If somebody is mid-crying, the best thing to do is just pull up. If they're comfortable with physical contact, just put your
Yeah.
arm around them. Just be there for them. If they're
Yeah.
not comfortable with physical contact, just sit there with them and let them ride it out. And once they start coming back to reality and less crying and more focused, that's when you're like, hey, is everything all good? Is there anything you want to talk about?
Yeah.
And you always ask. Don't say, hey, we're going to talk about this. No.
Just
Ask,
ask
hey,
for
do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
It provides the least amount of pressure on them, which makes them most likely to say, yeah, I have a lot going on.
Actually,
Yeah.
there are some instances where it's better to say, hey, we're going to talk it out. Like I did that with you, Kane.
But
and you
that's
kinda,
after me and you have been friends for a long time. If
Exactly.
you know
It's
develop,
like
if you
very
develop that relationship.
If you're already best friends with somebody, that's when you can say, nah, dude, we're talking about this right now. I know you better than anybody else. You're going to talk, whether you want to
You
or
never press
not.
the help button.
there are very special and
That's right.
specific conditions where that's okay.
I'll let you talk about those conditions.
Yeah, it's like, that's crazy.
Dang.
Good Lord.
No.
It's just like, the conditions with that, I feel, are like when you've become a bond, when you've built that bond over the course of years in terms of when you're not living with someone.
Yeah, spit that.
When you're living with someone, you're automatically there basically 24/7, even when you're not in the room, because it's just how you guys mesh in a room.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things where it's okay to say, hey, we're going to chit-chat.
In my house, we're gonna talk in this room.
Step into my room, sweetheart. I'm going to be a therapist.
I have to
But
agree
yeah.
with you. Sharing a room with somebody, that, in my opinion, is very impactful. You
It
share a room
is.
with somebody,
It really
you're not just friends with them. You're not just rooming with them.
Your family.
You start to become similar
Your
to each
family.
other.
You kind of have to.
Whenever you are very close to somebody, our body automatically starts picking up their habits,
Yeah.
certain traits, certain phrases. It's
Yeah.
because we as humans want to be what we love or what we look up to. That's how we become better. That's how we become stronger, by saying, hey, this is a trait that I want to have. How do I get myself to that point? And the thing is, change is very difficult. We all know this. I'm pretty sure everyone here can agree with me.
We're college students. Of course we can agree with you.
But the thing about change is that if you do fight every single day to live by the way you want to live and become who you want to become, when you're finally at that end point and you look and say, hey, I'm where I want to be.
Yeah.
The pride that you feel in that point is like no else.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, I finally did it.
Yeah.
And from there, the best thing to do is just enjoy. Be happy. Do what you enjoy.
Have you? Okay, this is like a question because I had to deal with this.
Hit us with it, homie.
So, have you guys like had like a lot of conflict around this like subject where like someone to one talk, or one was like kind of like I don't know, but you learn each other's methods.
So like
methods.
Yeah, first semester me and homie did have a couple problems.
There were problems, and that was actually when I was going through my stuff, and I would actually lash out at him occasionally.
Yeah.
But like with him and I rooming together, obviously you and Henan are rooming together too. I don't know about you guys, but Kane and I have
unfortunately.
Kane and I have quite literally built that brotherly bond. Like
yeah, I hate this guy, but he's my best friend. I love him more than anybody else, but I absolutely hate him. If I could kill him, I would. But I love him.
That's good.
Isn't that what family is? Am I right?
No, to be honest, like the other day, I literally looked at Kane and said, "Hey, you want to do a Life 360 together?" And we got that going. Like that's how close of a bond we did.
Oh yeah, now I have homie's location, so that means I can stalk him whenever.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This is like another thing. Like over summer, I sent gifts to you because I was like, okay, he's not answering his
That's
phone.
real nice.
He's not like communicating.
You're a good guy, Micah.
Yeah, he's not doing it. He's not doing that. So like the best way for me to do it is like to communicate that towards him is to send stuff so he can like physically see it. Because that physical reminder reminds you, okay, I'm not like alone, or I still matter. Because the big thing with you is like do I matter? Does my problem matter? So it's like to communicate to that person like, okay, you're a valid human. And that's why like I did that. So,
and
yeah.
I'm not cutting you off, right?
No, you're not cutting off.
Okay, cool. So when it comes to talking to somebody who is depressed and they are at the point where they're depressed enough to where they are lashing out, the best thing to do, it's really hard to do. It was hard the first time, but after that it got really easy because I realized, oh, wait a minute, Xander's just lashing out. He's not mad at me. But the best way to do it is, even though it's very difficult, don't blame them and don't hold it against them. If you don't blame and don't hold it against them, at some point they'll be like, oh man, I'm so sorry for saying that. And all you have to do is say, hey, don't worry about it. I get it.
I'm gonna be upfront. That's what I did to Dimitri.
Yeah, hit us with it.
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, so, okay, basically I and you were kind of like telling me, but I didn't really, I don't know, I kind of didn't want to see your perspective because I was like, well, I'm helping you, should like appreciate it. So I kind of like, I didn't realize that like I was also kind of like blaming the person in a weird way because they were lashing out, but I only like saw the lashing out part of it. I didn't see like the depression part of it, because you don't like really take into account like, okay, this person's like going through this. So I just kind of like saw it on a surface level, and then when I just like, I don't know, I feel like towards the end when we had that like long phone conversation, it was just like, it was me like kind of understanding like I need to understand the root of the problem instead of like focusing just on the lashing out, the like, because you kept saying like you're lazy, but like I was like, you're not lazy, you're going through something. So yeah.
I'm assuming you're speaking from that empath
Exactly.
perspective, because like I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest things I've learned over the course all the way back from middle school is that they're not lashing out at you.
They're
and
lashing
like
out just because.
It's because they have built up emotions, built up thoughts, and when they're in that state, they don't know how to process it. They don't know how to voice it.
Yeah.
They just don't know what to do with it in general. And then when they lash out, they're letting all of it come out at once. Like it could be they could be mad at someone like in a completely opposite country, and you could be the victim.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know, it can be rough.
It's it's okay. I'm gonna say this is a messy subject. it's not like it's not cut as black and white as we want to make it, because we're dealing with like different people, and everyone has different triggers and different stuff that sets them off, and different ways that they want to be helped. And it's like it's messy because, but I also think it's also good because for me it's a learning thing. With you with me and you, it was just like me learning to accept help.
Yeah.
It was just me just learning that it's okay to cry in the room. And with him, it was just learning that everyone needs different types of support, and because it was one of the more, it was dealing with that situation is like one of the more situations where someone closer to me was like going through like a season of depression, and I didn't know how to like
Sorry, we're getting some minor feedback right now. We're trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah, but yeah, it was that, and it was more like just me learning that okay, it's me learning that
Just keep going.
different people need different things, and it was very hard for me to. And also like when you're helping someone, it's normal to be angry about the situation, because you're wishing for like the other person to not be depressed or to not be in a state. It's normal to be angry about the situation, and sometimes angry at the person. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little angry, but
No, that's so fair though.
it's like,
That's
yeah,
fair,
it's
yeah.
angry because it's just like the situation. The situation is different than the ideal. It's not like it's not what it could be. So it's normal to have like mixed feelings of like disappointment and like, how could this happen? How could this just happen? Yeah.
In terms of the frustration, I want to get into a specific topic real quick.
Ooh.
My bad. Working with people that are, how do I word this? Kind of like naturally negative.
Oh my.
Oh, facts.
As much as, like, I don't like saying it. I don't. But there are some people that are like that. You kind of like
lean towards more cynicism.
there are those people specifically. You have to be real patient with, and there is an extremely wrong way to go about it. I've done it before. I've actually done it recently. And as much as I want to apologize to the person, I don't know how to go to him.
Yeah, because awkward.
Because, like, they're chill. I enjoy talking to them, but I went about it wrong one time, and that ended it.
Yeah.
So let's, like, break down how to, like, actually work out, like, being there for someone that's normally in a naturally negative mood.
Okay.
Because, like,
Does
from
normally like that?
with my experience, I've had a couple
Or
people,
just a
and they're somewhat relatable with this. It's a home life thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
facts.
there are issues that happen at home,
Mm-hmm.
which have molded them into how they are, and that's how they become naturally negative. I'm gonna keep using that term as much as like wrong. It might sound wrong, but I don't know a better way to
like
put
just
it.
more like maybe their personality leans toward more like cynicism because based on their like environment. Or
My life
background.
was terrible.
Yeah.
How could life be any better?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like that's like a nutshell. Yeah.
Now, like, one of the big things you don't want to do is tell them they need help.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Oh, that
terrible.
was the
That's the
big
worst
one.
place to go.
That was the big
It-
one that I
it-
did.
That
Yeah,
is a
that's-
route that I
that's a
took with
big
this
one.
person as of recently, and that's why I feel bad about it. And like,
Yeah.
I realized that it was wrong, and it's such a poor way to go about it. Now, you don't want to say it in general, but it really impacts someone with that type of mental state. It like
Okay.
really shuts them down, and they just end up disassociating with you as a whole.
Yeah, or just like avoiding you, kind of.
Yeah,
Because
like
they see you as a source of stress.
Or
Exactly.
You're threatening like my thing.
Peace.
here.
My peace of mind.
So how did I, when I told you that you needed help? What did you say? How did you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess you kind of already touched on it. I guess like it was. I mean, like kind of annoying. I guess because it was just. I don't know. Because like I guess when you're like when you're like in like a certain mindset, or when you're like I don't know. I guess I was just like looking back on it. Maybe I was kind of like in denial. I guess, but it was also just kind of I didn't want to hear it. Where I was just like where like you would say it, and it would just be like I don't know, because like even though like I wouldn't, cause like even though I would like consider it or like I would like think about it, I'd be like, okay, it's like the last thing I want to hear. You know, it's kind of like. Well, also when like someone's like angry, you don't want to hear.
Calm down.
Yeah, exactly,
Calm down,
exactly.
baby.
It's like the
Calm
same
down.
concept where I just was like, all right, you know, life's not the greatest right now. It was more just like I was kind of just like waiting, and I was like, all right, like as I told you, I was like, all right, I'm just waiting. It'll probably like, get better. But you remember, yeah.
It's the human mental state, really. I mean,
So yeah.
you ever be like right about to clean your room, and then your mom tells you, "Hey, go clean your room,"
Yeah.
and then you just look at her like, you know, now I'm not gonna clean my
Yeah,
room.
it kind of ruins it.
Exactly.
That's kind of how it
That's
goes.
The motivation.
Yeah.
You gotta like build up motivation with them. You can't just go straight to the point of, oh, you need to calm down, or oh, you need to seek help.
I remember humans
I
are
did
petty.
it backwards. I said like you need help,
Humans are
and then I
petty.
just like
They like being told what to do.
yeah.
essentially.
So I guess like, and then like just with that, because saying you need help is it's just the thing with that is it comes from good intentions, but also it seems like it's minimizing or simplifying like a very complex situation.
I think I like the way that you put it, minimizing. That's what it
Yeah.
makes
Real.
it feel like, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, so all you just
That's-
care
that's
about
it.
you just care about me getting better, so you don't have to deal with this instead
yeah,
of
yeah,
oh no, you actually do care about me.
yeah,
It's one of those
Yeah.
things.
That's
Human
exactly
mind is very
that's
messed
exactly
up.
what it
One of
comes
those
off
things.
to.
yeah.
It's just like that's the thing. You gotta be really cautious with those type of people. You can't jump to it. Like you might feel you're confident to say, oh, I can say this. No,
Yeah.
don't even try it, okay? Because I.
Also,
Going
Alex,
on.
if you don't let me come on the next one and everyone after that, I'm breaking your kneecaps.
That's
I
great.
like
Sounds
this
good.
place. This is fun.
Really?
Oh,
I'm genuinely enjoying this. Like
oh,
Really?
being able to
I'll
yap.
add you to the chat.
I'm a professional yapper. Yapping for a
Yapper.
good reason
That's
makes me
cool.
happy. I'm
Heck
sorry
yeah.
for cutting you off.
And that's what this whole
Yeah.
show's about, you
Yeah.
know.
Damn.
Yeah, it's about offering your perspective, and it helped me like to grow a lot.
I think it helped a lot of people, you know.
Yeah,
I can tell you,
so-
I'm already grown, and this is my second time being on it. Like,
That's saying
Cool.
something.
I'm
You know how many
grown.
levels?
You're
it says
growing.
something?
You're
Yeah.
And I hope it helps the
Yeah.
listeners as well. But
Yeah, the listeners too. This another thing is like for men, I feel like we're kind of, at least in my experience, I don't know, I'm just testing my experience. I've been out of like, I'm just learning how to be vulnerable like just now.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Just
very.
recently. I'm not like I had like my whole life.
Until I met him, I was a cold-hearted. I was cold.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Yeah,
Then I
no.
met him, and I was like, oh,
And then
that's what I want to be.
Our men's group that we do kind of brought that like out of me too, like learning how to share about my life.
oh, that's really.
And
good.
it's still hard. It's like a journey. It's not like okay, a switch. Like I'm comfortable,
Yeah.
but it's like in situations that like sometimes like you're like kind of like forced to, like when you're crying before bed and then your roommate's there. And you have to, like
Exactly.
you're kind of forced to like be like okay, what's going on? So yeah,
We still gotta get Gary on the podcast.
yeah,
That'll be really fun.
yeah.
I
That'll
wanna
be really fun.
bring up my home life real quick, bouncing off of what you brought up, Micah.
Your background.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like with my home life, I would say I grew up in a fairly healthy home, but I personally never like my parents would always come to me and say, "Hey, if there's anything happening, you can come talk to us." I really never took them up on that until like last year to 2 years ago, because like I was always in that state of no one wants to help, and like they would keep coming to me. They'd like my mom especially, she would know when something's wrong, but I just would never voice it. I was always like afraid to voice it because I never knew what would happen, and I didn't know what to expect. I was basically scared to go out and talk about it. And like one of the big things that needs to be recognized is when it's actually a healthy environment to
Yeah.
talk to.
it's
Like
like-
I
it's
mean,
also-
mine was actually very, very, very healthy. Still is. But I just didn't know how to go about doing it because
Yeah.
I was always in that mindset of, oh, they're my parents. They have to say this. No, they really don't. I mean, they are your parents, and their
Some parents
job.
say the opposite.
I know that's like more on the unhealthy side, but like with mine,
More. That is unhealthy.
yeah. With mine, they always tried to build up that you can come to us. I just never knew how to properly accept that.
And it also doesn't help that when you're depressed, all you
Like how
want
they view
is somebody to just come in and save you from the situation. But the people who are trying to save you, who are making the effort, you just can't see that they're there for you. You can't see that they want to help because you're so far in the darkness. That light just looks like more darkness.
Yeah.
Dang! Kane's dropping bars over here. But no, that's very true. Yeah.
Sorry for cutting you off, Xander.
No, you're good. I mean, like, in terms of
What happens then?
like the negative aspect with people when they're in that mindset, it's 9 times out of 10 a home life thing.
Home life thing, yeah.
Sometimes it bounces back to whether you have abusive parents as a whole, or there's a lack of one parent. Like, you don't have a father figure, you don't have a mother figure, and that's one of the biggest things that it kind of builds up to. Even if, like, say you do have both your parents, one of them can just not be there, and it could be like they just
emotionally present.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like that bounces off to you. And that's kind of what builds up that negative mindset and just
Around, like, emotional
yeah,
vulnerability.
it kind of turns into like an emotional trauma thing.
Yeah.
But like they just don't process it because it's the home they grew up in.
Our home
Yeah.
is who we are. What I mean by that is, where does your home? Your home is where your family is. Your family are the reason why you become the way you are. Every one of your values comes from your parents, whether it be their values or the opposite of their values. If you don't like your parents, your values will be opposite. You ever see conservative parents with a liberal child? That's why. They hate their parents, and that's why they said, you know what? I'm not going to be on that conservative stuff. I'm going to be a liberal.
I mean,
So I think
No hate, it's
yeah.
just, that's
And
just, it's a fact.
And even with like family
a good
dynamics,
example.
it's messy. But like for me, it's more of okay. I like have a healthy environment, but also like what's in the culture and how my parents were raised
there is a
affects-
culture that plays into it. I didn't actually think
A
of
100%.
that.
affects how they like raised me and my sister, and then it's just because because me and my dad didn't have like that closeness with his dad. He wasn't equipped with the skills to practice vulnerability.
And it's hard being vulnerable, and it's hard showing
Yeah.
that you care about somebody, especially if you haven't, because as men, we're kind of like, oh
Like,
yeah,
oh.
when you grow up, you're going to be a cold-hearted killer, just like me. And then you grow up, and it's like, no, I'm scared, help.
Or it's just
Yeah.
like like even like showing like even in the when you're helping someone, showing care for me became more of like a thing I learned to do, especially through you, because you're like expressive with everything. You're like really.
That's because
very
he's
expressive.
saucy.
He's
Betcha.
very expressive.
crazy.
So it's just like me becoming comfortable expressing things, and then it also helped him as well become comfortable. Like, how did that like help you? Like me like expressing care.
I should have brought over second rain.
I guess. I'm freaking point. I'm really on point. I guess it helped me because we're just like seeing it. Like I think I was talking to you earlier about like counseling, how like you see from like other people talk about it.
Yeah.
You can kind of like open your mind up to it more, but also like in men's group, you know, we talk about that a lot, kind of opening up, or just like the importance of it, like how it can bring like people together and stuff.
Yeah.
Cause I talked about like community yesterday,
Yeah.
and they made me think about like the different, you know, like what makes like your community special, or like what brings a community together.
How long is this podcast? This is very
Well, no, that's a
it's
good
good.
point.
This is like a really
Let's
good.
make it 2 hours.
This is like really good, but
Funsies.
Part two, maybe.
yeah, we're gonna have a part 2. I think we need a part 2.
I think we're going to need a
We're
part
gonna
2.
need a
We're
part
just,
two.
we're just spitting so many facts and
deep,
bars that nobody could handle.
This is
this
such a
shit.
deep and like kind of a personal topic.
And if we
Yeah.
were to make it
That's
one
what rappers
podcast, it would be so fire that the people listening would just catch on
You know?
fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
You ever seen that
So I-
meme where like the guy's on the piano and the
Yeah, straight
piano's
up.
on fire?
Straight, I think it's
think-
Beethoven.
It's a
Aren't-
bit. Oh, yeah.
Aren't you guys glad I came to you with this topic?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good topic,
yes. Because
Yeah,
it's
good.
so broad.
You get a
but we
kiss
can
for
go
that
into
one.
So many like tangents with it. We can go into so many tangents with it. So that's what.
Deep, man.
But I learned. I don't know. I just learned so much, just with just like even saying like I love you. That's like for me. That's like very. It's
I
still
love
hard
you,
to say.
Micah.
Huh?
I love you, Micah.
Yeah. So it's so hard to say. Even I try to
I
say
think
it.
as men,
Yeah.
it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Especially
very
the-
hard to say.
The only
'cause, like,
person who it's easy to say I love you to, two of them actually, your mom and your girlfriend, as a man.
I mean, like saying that to other guys.
But to other
Yeah.
guys, it is very hard.
for me
Once I-
personally,
Once
it's
I learned it was easier.
it's
Yeah.
like I have no problem saying it to family at all because
Yeah,
well that's
well,
the home
duh.
that's the home I was
Yeah.
grown in. Like
Yeah.
I'll say it to my dad, I'll say it to my mom, I'll say it to my sister. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I love
I-
you, Pookie.
I love you too, Spooky Bear.
Oh my gosh.
But like, I'll even say that to my I'll say it to a very distant uncle because I'm a big family person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give off those vibes. You give off those warm
Oh, I sure
vibes.
hope so.
Even though like okay, when I first met you, it was a very like different thing. But it was because I don't know. It's because like I made a judgment, a preconceived judgment.
Was I scary when you first met me?
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
6'6", like very big, fairly built guy. Like
Yeah.
that. I've always been told I have that like angry look on my face. Just like, but realistically,
Yeah, but
that
you're just,
angry
like,
look.
super like to getting to know you, like super warm and like welcoming. To,
Thank you, Micah. That actually
Yeah.
means a lot.
From the moment I laid eyes on Xander, I knew I was in love.
Okay. Okay. But yeah,
Dang.
yeah, I feel like me coming to college and having like different like relationships that were different from like my like environment from like what I was used to. Number one, it was scary at first because I was never used to that, and I'm afraid of that level of vulnerability. And number two, it opened me up to a new style of relating to people. That like I had like there's so much potential, in like the new, that you just have to like kind of like embrace it. I guess.
I mean, like with me
Makes sense.
personally, like I come from a school where I always felt like I didn't fit in. I just kind of like
Same.
they weren't my people. But the moment I started coming here and talking to everybody, I was like, these are my people.
Yeah.
I love these
Same.
guys.
I honestly agree. Of
What?
course, I do like, I do have some pretty good high school friends, but like in college, you know, they're definitely I don't know. You get closer to people.
You know
It's
what-
the fact that people are coming from different backgrounds, from a neighborhood down the road to a completely different country, and like just being around those people, it's kind of like fulfilling
Yeah.
as a whole. Because like when you learn about other people's experiences, you just kind of like feel welcome, and you can just share yours.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like,
You meet, yeah,
Right.
and you meet more people like yourself, but also you meet different people as well. It's a good balance.
there is a good balance. And one of the things I like saying, what I consider a home, is with my family and with my friends that I have a deep connection with.
Yeah.
Because I love my family, I love my friends.
Jeez.
I would do anything for anyone in either of those two groups.
Yeah.
I would.
Legit. And I just want to point out here, because, of course, like, sometimes, like, your friends from high school, they'll drift away. But,
Yeah.
like, Kane and I, we've been the exception.
We've known each other for years.
And me
Nah,
and
he's
Royce.
he's
I'm
mine
gonna be
now.
honest.
I did not talk to Royce until I came to college.
This
Oh, I forgot you guys were in the same school. Yeah.
I did not.
Wait, you
this,
guys were at the same school?
podcast
Yeah.
is actually helping me a lot. Like I'm feeling a lot better than I was earlier.
That's
It is
good.
nice just to be able to talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Not only
That's
that, but
why
I'm
we-
not
that's
even
why we
gonna lie.
make
I
this.
enjoy spitting bars on this.
Exactly.
I want to be able to go back to this podcast and hear the
We
stuff that I've
need-
said and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
With that.
We need a
We'll
quote
listen
list
to
up in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can keep track of
Always
that.
say that.
So, but yeah, I feel like meeting. Meeting someone that is like has a different, they're offering like a different like style of relationship than what you're used to. It can at first be very uncomfortable. Because it's like the saying like, okay, real love is uncomfortable. It is, because it's not like it's like unconditional, and it's not based on like, because if you have like,
And it's rare too.
yeah, if you like come from like a background like me, like in high school, where like someone can just like drop you, you know, it's not like when someone like shows you like real love, it's very uncomfortable. I feel like you have a lot to say.
I just want to comment on that real quick. Sorry, Micah.
Okay,
One of the biggest things for a man, I can't speak from the woman perspective because obviously I'm a man.
No way, really?
But like,
No.
that's crazy.
I can.
That's wild. But like, One of the biggest things that men don't tend to accept is when there's like actual love and there's an actual bond there.
We don't trust it.
We don't, because like
Yeah.
it's, and in terms of like high school, like Micah said, people can just drop you.
Yeah.
But like with my school, my graduating class was 116, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knew everybody. We did.
Yeah.
And like the moment something would happen,
Everyone knew about
it took like 2 hours for
So
people to
hard
figure
to,
it
like,
out.
Be yourself if it's just hard to be yourself in those.
Have you guys
It
all
really is.
watched Charlie Brown?
Oh yeah.
He
We love
had a
Charlie
whole
Brown.
record
You
of
know the
Charlie Brown
scene-
every year.
You know the scene where Charlie Brown goes up to kick the football? You know how many times
Yeah.
that scene has happened throughout all those episodes?
Yeah.
Being a man is like that scene.
Ooh.
Because every single time you think, okay, cool, this time it's going to be good. Let's go kick this ball. You end up getting kicked in the face. Except instead of her just moving out the way, no, you get kicked in the face.
Yeah,
Full
like,
force, too.
Real. It's just kind of like, it's just something people don't really accept, especially from a man's perspective. Like when it's true, real love. Excuse me. You don't have like, you don't know how to mentally process it. You
It's
don't know
the
how to
fear
even
of
accept
it not
Yeah.
being true that makes
And-
true love so
And
terrifying.
there's also, it's also like
Real.
okay, and that's why that's why I started saying it more to you. That's why I started saying it more to you to like.
So
try
I'm
to
having a seizure
develop
up in
that
here
bond.
because Kane's just dropping
And
some
I also
bars.
have a question of like how.
You can call me Enola Gay.
how
Okay,
is-
hold on.
So like how was like you said like different than like other friendships that you've had. How is like can you like kind of elaborate more on that?
I think I'm gonna put on the spot right now.
Yeah.
I'm about to think about it like a little bit though.
Just
Here,
No,
we'll,
let me
we'll
think,
let
let me
you
think,
think
let me
of
think,
it.
let
Can
me
we
think. But, like,
actually bring that
yeah.
up for everyone in the room
Yeah.
too? Because everyone's got different perspectives on it.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Well, I'm showing love.
I
just-
love you, Smokey Bear.
Yeah. So
I
it's
love
like
all you guys.
it's just like for a while it's just like me becoming comfortable with affirming him and affirming people. I still get awkward when just like saying, hey, you mean so much to me, because we always kind of put like romantic like we assume like romantic things in that where
Movies have ruined us.
what were we gonna say
Huh?
what were we gonna say
No, keep going, keep going. I gotta
because
think about this.
yeah, I feel like we always like put that. But even if it's like a friendship, it's like, well, you showing that, it's like kind of like people assume that. And I've talked about that many times on the podcast. But yeah, it's just like my journey is becoming more comfortable affirming other people and not being like not and accepting that it's awkward at first.
I mean, yeah, like with my background, I used to have a childhood friend. We were friends from kindergarten all the way to our senior year. And
Oh, him.
yeah, Kane knows. We're gonna like leave the poor parts of those details out of it, but like not once have I actually ever heard from him, I love and appreciate you, like as like a friendly aspect.
I love and
I
appreciate
think-
you, Pookie.
I love and appreciate you too.
Thank you.
Hey.
But like, I don't know. It's just me personally, I've never heard that come from him, and like, I didn't start thinking about that until after he left, because like, just to throw in some little details, we talked occasionally. He, like, when he would ask me how college is going, I would start talking about it. He'd start feeling down because he is not currently going to college. I'm not sure what he's doing right now, but that's okay. And one of our last interactions was he sent me a reel. Him and his girlfriend did, because I was friends with both of them. And I actually created a group chat and said, basically, it was like, hey, what's up? I haven't heard from you guys in forever. You guys said you didn't want to talk to me. Why are you sending reels now? And it just gone to this huge thing of, oh, I thought we thought we were your friends. And I'm like, you guys were never once there for me. You guys have never expressed it. And it turned into like a negative aspect at that point. And I realized that after I started attending college.
And it's also, but we take that for granted, though. Like, just not, like, either saying it or not saying it, we take that for granted. But it is important to affirm that to someone, like, I love you. It's important to do that. Or, like, show whatever way you show, whatever your friendship language or love language is. It's, like, you know, it's important to show that. Me, it was gifts.
Yeah.
And you. It's everyone has their different like styles, but yeah, everyone has different like ways of showing up. Maybe it's like presence, maybe it's like hug, physical like touch and stuff. So I think
Would you say like yours is a mix of like material and physical touch?
mine's is physical touch, materials, and presence.
Words of affirmation
Words
and physical touch for
yeah.
me are like the two number ones.
Same here.
If you hold me and tell me that I'm a good boy, I will be happy. But I got some real stuff to hit you guys with. And I forgot it. Sorry about that.
We'll let you cook for a second.
Okay.
Well, like, it's not,
Cook with the oven.
it's just, I guess, like, presence. I don't know, whatever that one is.
Presence.
Not like gifts, but like being around people.
Being present.
That's what I meant.
Ooh, metaphor. Yeah.
That's what I meant, yeah.
But yeah,
That's like the only one
Quality
I would
time.
really have. It's like the main one.
good
Yes.
quality time.
Yeah,
It's-
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean like
And talking.
yes, talking is important.
I remember what I was gonna say. Do you want to go first or?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
go
go right
because
ahead.
mine's short. Like I'm a big physical touch and like just affirmation and just like being around people in general. I'm like, okay, I love this. I love being around you guys, and it's just like heartwarming in general. And like when sometimes I'll get hit with that random hug, and I'm like,
That's nice.
I'm gonna be friends with this guy forever. Exactly.
Yeah, like I'll just like yeah, I'll do that. So I'll just like I'm a big hugger, and when I was like that in high school, people assume things about me because I'm just like a physical touch person, and I think now I'm just becoming more comfortable with that I'm like that, because before it was just like what's going on. They would assume things about me.
You can't dislike yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
If you give a lot of hugs, that just means that you're a good person. And you
yeah,
like
caring
you like making
person.
people happy.
Yeah.
To backtrack a little bit to earlier,
Yeah.
remember how you was talking about how they tried rebuilding that bridge?
Yeah.
Sometimes when people try to rebuild a bridge like that, it's not because they genuinely care about you. It's not because they want anything. Think about if a bridge in Pittsburgh were to break down. You know what you'd want? You'd want it fixed so that your life's easier and so that you don't feel as bad. The reason why they want to build that bridge back is because they feel bad about the way they treated you. They know that they did something wrong, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we can just cover this up by
Yeah,
rebuilding it.
it's not
But at
about,
the
like,
end of the day,
true-
if they know that you don't like them, they know. And there's nothing that you can do to change that, because once you burn a bridge to a certain point, there's no rebuilding it. And you just
That's
have
a
to
good-
find a new place to build a bridge.
I mean, yeah, with those two people, I have made a Hennon's tripping right now. That cut him deep. Like with
That
those,
cut way too deep, dog. Dang.
with
okay.
those two people, I have made it clear that I'm willing to talk to them and I'm willing to try and work it out. But then, like, once they would flood me with more negative comments, I was like,
I feel like
can't.
there's
The guilt got to them.
I feel
Yeah.
like there's in a conflict there's always, not all the time, but in certain situations, it's like a person they're willing to humble themselves and willing to like establish some sort of reconciliation. They're someone that is just not. They're just gonna just block you or whatever.
yeah.
And for whether or not you want to rebuild a relationship with somebody, that is completely up to you.
Yeah.
Never feel like you need to rebuild a relationship with somebody,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if
It's
you
all about,
genuinely
like-
feel that no, there's no good reason to do that, don't. Because the whole time that you're friends with them, like falsely, because you just want to make them feel better,
Yeah.
you're gonna hate yourself. And after hating yourself, you're gonna hate them,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, I remember why I stopped talking to them in the first place.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be around somebody, the best thing to do is to just ignore them. Don't be like weird about it. Don't like, oh, I'm gonna leave the room because they're in here.
Yeah.
Just pretend like,
or make like a scene out of it.
just
and it's
consider them as to be just another person in the crowd. It's the
Yeah.
best thing to do mentally. And if they come up to you and they cause a scene, that makes them look bad, not you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
like kind of we're going to get into so many good tangents, but I think all in all, I think this podcast, or the main idea is like about support and like just building relationships, which is all that's all of what men's college is.
We started with how to recognize
how to
it, and then we
recognize the
got
signs.
into how to deal with it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna need that part too.
Which
I'm
is,
just
in my
saying.
opinion,
we need a
just as
part
important.
2. We're gonna go to 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, at this point.
Yeah.
No,
at
it's
this
been
point,
an hour,
it's
14 minutes.
Yeah. So
But-
do we want to like wrap up or?
I think we should get wrapping up because
Yeah.
if we're gonna
Yeah.
be doing a second one,
This is
We
a
need to
good
say-
spot
let's
to
save the tea
stop.
for the
To
next-
stop, but then
Yeah.
we'll resume.
hey
another
Alex,
To be
time.
continued.
I think next time I'm gonna bring a little notepad because whenever I have an idea, I'm just gonna write it
Yeah.
down because I like listening to you guys, but I don't like
Yeah.
having to try and remember my idea while listening.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna write it down real quick.
That's fine.
Kane.
Kane, you're part of the
Part of
squad
this
now.
guy.
I hope you know that. Like you're gonna be
Yeah,
part of the.
Yeah.
Who said I was giving you a choice?
That's
the
great.
point. That's the point.
Little thing I want people to note before we end this part here is you just make sure that you are recognizing like their background, their mental state, the positive and negative, and the proper ways that you should go about it.
And always be true to yourself and others.
Yes. And if you yourself are struggling when you're trying to help with someone, don't hesitate to reach out.
Press the help button.
I
get
forget who
therapy.
said it, but the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
It is very factual.
Yeah.
It is.
Because
set
if
you
you
free.
tell the truth 24/7, you will never have a regret in your life. And if you're always true to yourself and do everything that you want to do, you will never regret it because you were like, this is what I want. I mean, there's reason for me to not want to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to go about in life because whenever it's not when it's easy that you should do it. It's when it's hard that you should do it.
Yeah.
When you become truthful to yourself and others,
You're able to give that out to other people.
yeah.
No, Kane, that was good. That was
To have like authentic relationships.
Once you release that part of your mind and you're truthful and I'm pretty sure I covered this, but like the last week after I met with my recruiter, I really like looked at myself after I got back in my room and said, I'm proud of myself. I am
Yeah.
happy with where I'm at. I'm building up
Which is
a
another
proud life.
That's another topic I want to talk about is confidence because that's another thing.
What's wrong?
I think
with
it was-
being confident?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I think it was John F. Kennedy who said, we do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
I like JFK.
True growth and true anything and becoming who you want to be can only happen through hardship.
Yeah.
You can only find that
Yeah.
light when you're in the darkness.
Yeah, I think. I hope no one else will come.
Remember,
But
ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen, keep true to yourself and learn to accept when
What are
people
your
need help
closing
and
thoughts?
when you need help.
Legit.
I guess it's like I don't really have much to say. It's just like I don't know. I'm excited for part 2. See how that goes. If I'm there, hopefully I'm there.
I hope that you're there.
Yeah,
You seem
next
like a
time.
good guy.
Appreciate it.
I enjoy your company.
Because he is a good guy.
Actually, yeah, Meech, I do want to
Also, that
learn
shirt
more
is
about
fire.
you too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's a fun He's. I'm warning you. He's. Close off at first. Anyway.
No, that's okay though. That's
yeah.
okay.
Also, I'm
Oh,
going.
Really?
At first. Oh yeah. So I was gonna say my closing thoughts is that all these topics are messy, and you have to be willing to be patient with yourself and the other person, whether you're recognizing the signs or you're trying to figure out like a way to help them, or you're trying to learn how to be vulnerable in that situation. It's like you have to be patient.
Patient with yourself and them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not like going to be. There's no quick fix solutions. I tried that before. There's no quick fix like answers. It's more of like we try and we learn as we go. We figure it out as we go.
My closing thought: it's a challenge to every single person listening to this podcast.
And in the room.
Next time you're out, and next time you're out and about, and you see somebody and you think, "Oh, they have a cool shirt," tell them. Whenever you want to give somebody a compliment, give them a compliment.
I mean,
Hell,
literally.
even if you don't want to give them a compliment, give them a compliment. I do it 24/7. It is how we can make this world a better place. Because every time you
And
tell somebody
I
something like
appreciate
that,
that about you. That's what I do.
I like seeing people smile.
Yeah, you just
Like-
When you tell them they have a nice shirt, they smile, and it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, like Kane and I will be going. We'll hop in the elevator at Yorktown to either like go to class, go get food, or even go back to our room. Anyone that walks in, boy, girl, whatever,
Yeah.
he'll be like, "Hey, I like your shirt. Your shoes are really cool. You have a nice energy coming off of you." And
think
like,
so, too.
I have everyone that you said that to, they just smile.
Yeah.
And like, I love
Yeah.
that about
not
you,
one
Kane.
person
It's
has gotten
awesome.
mad.
Yeah.
You don't know why? Because this is in Seneca Valley. If it was Seneca Valley, I'd have gotten at least 4 death threats by now.
All right. Okay. But
Firing shots at him.
yeah, what's your
But like,
closing thought?
My closing thought?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This is gonna be fire, low key.
Oh sure, yeah. Like, well, here's the thing.
I'll lay down a beat for you.
Well, so
Have an hour.
I want to make this clear.
Yeah.
All right, because you said that you felt like you were. I know you didn't, but like when you're in a room with somebody, like when you're
Yeah.
with somebody and you want to cry,
Yeah.
you're kind of forced to say.
Well, it's kind of.
But no, let me finish.
Okay. Okay.
Hush.
Yeah, let homie finish.
Hush.
silencio.
Okay.
I didn't feel forced to help you out. I wanted to help you out.
That's
You know?
because you guys.
Micah, you are legit.
If he felt
Brother
forced,
to
he
me.
probably
He
wouldn't.
cried.
Always
Yeah.
gonna cry.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't do that.
When you are true brothers with somebody, you know they're always there for you.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel like to you. That's how I feel like to Demeech. That's how I feel like to Zandy.
That's right.
That's how I feel like to Kane.
Hey, wait.
Damn
Wait a
straight.
minute.
I always
You're crying. Okay.
You call me Zandy, man. That's Mike. That's
The
Micah's
Zandy
name
man.
for me.
I always call you Zandy.
And then-
Yeah.
But no, like
Good, right?
the,
That was-
to comment on it, Hennon, that's because you and Micah have built a home with each other,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and that's why it works.
Yeah.
Legit.
Stop. What are you doing? And even
When
like,
you
even
have a
the-
true
and even,
gang with somebody.
and
Fuck your
even
phone.
and even the fact that like even if we don't like live together or anything, like I feel like since the bonfire, I've just just growing
spit
close
it.
to you like since the what was it like
Me, you, and Royce.
yeah like
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
since
Shout out to Royce.
that day like but I'm just like talking about like our relationship. It's like ever since that day, even though we've had like our peaks and valleys, like I really appreciate like what we have.
Yeah, friendships. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's with everyone.
Legit.
Yeah.
With all the friendships.
Legit.
Appreciating each other is what makes us human.
Yeah.
Animals do not know appreciation, except
Yeah.
if it's for humans.
Except
Yes.
for cat,
Why do you
my
think
cat.
dogs love
My
humans so
Puppy
much?
dog.
Eat a dog.
So yeah, I think that's a good way. That's a good spot to end for now.
Wait a minute, did homie Dimitri get some
Oh yeah,
closing
Demeech,
thoughts?
you have any closing
did,
thoughts,
I
bro?
did.
Yeah, he did.
I
Oh,
did.
you
did,
did.
he did.
Okay.
I didn't really say much, but I said.
How about you, Zandy man?
I said mine, but before we do go, I just want to say I love everyone in this room. I love all my friends, and
And we love everybody listening to this because you guys are awesome.
That's right.
Amen.
We also have to take a picture.
We need a picture for the Instagram.
You guys
What?
are Kane's queens, absolute lords. Remember
yeah.
that.
It's his birthday. It's his birthday.
You're my,
It's
you're my
Oh,
king.
by the
yeah.
way, we got a men's couch birthday up in here.
Happy
Oh,
birthday!
He's giving away. Happy birthday,
Oh.
Micah.
Oh no, he's running away. He's running away.
what I do.
You ain't running away, not with me around.
No,
Kane's blocking the door. Good.
real though.
I've done this
Ha-
one
happy
too many
birthday,
times.
Micah. I
So
hope-
happy
hope you
birthday to the guy who started this whole podcast,
Yeah.
Micah Blackwell.
We're singing happy birthday to him right now.
All right, ready? Ready, everybody? Ready, everybody?
No, we're not.
Yep.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Micah.
Ooh la la.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay. Let's wrap it
We
up.
just broke the audio, but yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it
Love
up,
you
guys.
guys.
Happy birthday to Micah. He's the frickin' goat. He's freaking awesome, like everyone else in
Let's
this
take a
room.
picture.
And yeah, so that's all for us right now, guys. Don't forget to listen to us every Monday and Tuesday at Spotify. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. I am going to post something this week, I swear, for Instagram. I'm going to do it.
Are you
And
sure?
take some time to enjoy yourselves while you're at it.
Yeah, it takes some time. Yeah.
Remember, everyone, stay true to yourself, stay real, and
Stay real.
enjoy everything that you have and everything that you're building.
Legit. Yep, be yourself. That's all that matters, right? Well, guys, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.